you. All right, so we got a loaded front here. So this is another snap of one cross. The boundary safety is going to be working the eyes. It's 3-by-1, so most of the time, we talked about this before. One cross, man. He's going to play the middle of the field. We're manned up here. And then the safety is going to be looking. Kansas City is notorious for benders. So they're looking for that in 3-by-1.
And just to make sure, obviously there's a terminology gap. When you say bender, I'm guessing that's the deep cross.
Yeah, the deep cross from number 3, or they'll run him here and then him back underneath him, and then they do a lot of stuff off of that. They have a play, I believe it's called Colt, where they're going to sit like this, and we'll see a lot of that. And basically, he actually is going to run right off his ass and sit down. It's a Tampa 2 beater. And the Titans actually played a lot of 2 deep, which we'll get into how they did it. It was actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the end zone shot. The other thing I noticed, I'm going to do my best with the film, guys. You don't see it in this play. The Titans lined up wide and some of their 4-down stuff when they were distributed evenly. And, yeah, you want to get on the edge of these guards so you make them flip their, open their shoulders, and then you can get back inside. But one thing I noticed is Mahomes, he doesn't like escaping up inside in the A-gap. I mean, what quarterback does? So it looked like the Titans were really pressing and basically daring him to run inside, which is not really what he wants to do.
No, he wants to get outside on the perimeter and play make to his dominant hand. And the Titans did a lot, and I think I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think what the Titans did to supplement that outside pressure to keep Mahomes hemmed in the pocket, I think it was excellent. And I think that while Shane Bowen is the defensive coordinator, Mike Vrabel obviously a defensive coach, I think we saw a major influence from Jim Schwartz, who's the defensive assistant to the regional manager, whatever you want to call Jim Schwartz right now. He's just a defensive mind helping them out. But I think we saw some remnants of like the wide 9 scheme. Harold Landry was lined up super wide on a bunch of these plays. And what the Titans did against the Bills last week is they brought Elijah Molden off the slot to Josh Allen's dominant hand, so that he couldn't get out right to play make. And this week, because they couldn't afford to send 5 against Mahomes, they wanted to be a little safer. They just lined Harold Landry super wide up so that when he came on his rush, he was coming so wide it almost supplemented that cornerback slot blitz and that pressure that the Titans were bringing last week. So I really liked seeing that from the Titans. I thought that was a really smart move, at least from my perspective.
Absolutely. Here's the bender of 3 coming back. We talked about this last week, that depending on what team it is and who this guy is. So I believe this is Tyreek at
I think
number
you're
2.
currently muted.
Oh, shit. Don't tell me now. Don't tell me now. So what's happening here is they're running the bender. Now, depending on who this cat is at the number 2 receiver, they will they'll play it where like the Patriots did this to the Chiefs back in 2018. So they put Stephon Gilmore at 3, and when he would run the bender, he would actually let it go and look to double the number 2 receiver. He kind of carries it.
Yeah, I was honestly, I had questions about this, and maybe you can fill me in. When I saw this, it looks like man principles when you look at the 2 outside receivers. But yeah, the way Jackrabbit lets that go and hands it off to Kevin and then kind of settles down. I didn't know if he was settling down because he saw Mahomes going down in the pocket, or was he settling down to take the middle of the field? What exactly, I guess, would you call this coverage? What are they trying to execute here?
It's called one cross. Some people call it one hole, like the Fangio guys call it one hole. Belichick calls it one cross. That's how I learned it, was one cross. So basically, and I've talked about it the last couple of weeks, so apologies to guys that have been here before, but I want to make sure we're not just like, you don't have to be in here every week to follow along. So I may repeat some stuff. So one cross is basically what you're doing is you're playing man under here. You have to play this at a dime. So their personnel is they got two
Titans
linemen,
love dime.
three, and they're calling really. I mean, what you call an outside backer versus a DN. I mean, they do have some distinct examples. So they have different personnel groups when they have, Dupree in with Landry as the outside backers, but you saw sometimes when they ran Autry as one of the ends, who's more of a true D end. Some of it's 6 one way, half dozen the other. So what's happening is your rat is going to be in 3-by-1 away from the trips, unless you game plan it where they run a lot of shit out here with number 2. Then you could bracket. You could basically have him play like this and bracket to this side and have him down the middle. But that's more of a bracket concept. This is one hole. So what's happening is, by rule, I'm going to go with the crosser, and then once I deliver him, I can zone off and be the rat. So let's say, for an example, where, they ran, well, it'd be hard out of 3-by-1 to really, I mean, you could run mesh, but, let's say let's get crazy with this shit and go here. So there's your rat.
Yeah.
There's your middle of the field guy. Okay. So let me clean this picture up a little bit. Okay. And again, use your imagination. So let's go back. When this guy goes in and this guy goes in, I'm going to be the rat to this side. I'm looking to pick up. I'm going to let my go, and I'm going to be the rat over here. So they're going to basically exchange these two routes. I'm going to deliver him here, and then I become the final rat because I got nobody to pick up. I mean, that's some crazy. That's the hardest concept. But that's basically what you're doing is you are delivering. I have this guy, and this is where the confusion is. Some people, it's called man match coverages. So man match. So there's zone, straight zone. I drop back. I read the quarterback. You'll see some of that. Straight man. I'm on my man no matter what. You're going to see that in 2-man. You're going to see that in 5-man pressures, cover 1. Zone match, which is like Rippler's match, a lot of the shit you see. And then this is man match. So I had this guy unless. So if he runs a deep bender. Now, again, the Chiefs are known for the bender. This is their thing, especially if number 10 is at the third receiver spot. So that everybody plays this coverage versus them now. And I know that there's the joke running around about people have figured out Mahomes. And I know it's supposed to be sarcastic, but I'm going to tell you this right now. By the way, can I ask you a favor, my friend?
Sure.
Can you be my chat moderator as we're talking? Because I don't know what's going. I can't do both.
No, you're fine. I got the YouTube video pulled up right now. I actually, just from our Skype interaction, I can't see the plays.
Okay.
So I pulled up the YouTube video so I can kind of see what you see, and I got the chat right here. We're good to go. Everyone's saying they can hear you and they can see the film.
Is it good? Is it smooth? Everybody, do we avoid the disaster of the beginning? I can't wait to delete this shit from the face of the internet. All right. So you're going to deliver it, and then you're going to deliver to that guy, and then you're going to play back over and be the rat. And Tyler, I know it's not ideal, but if I share my screen with you on here and on Skype and then go in through and try and broadcast, it will be the nightmare to end all nightmares.
No, you're fine. I have
quickly
figured out a way to follow along while still being able to see everything. I might be a little delayed with what I see on the screen from you, but no, I think we have really worked this out. So good to go.
Man, this is awesome having professionals like Tom.
Yeah.
I'm just a jerk off who fucking interviews coaches and if people don't like it, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Like having a pro like you that's I'm ready to turn this shit off. Like, I'm done. You guys have a good night. I'm over this. But if you weren't here, I might have done that just because for the last 4 hours, it's been a nightmare. All right. So we've talked about 1 cross versus 2x2, but we haven't seen it yet. So 1 cross versus 2x2. This is your air raid beater. So what you want to do is you want to drop. This is by rule. Now, camp rules meaning, listen, I got to install some shit to start off with. So let's pick a starting place and go from there. And then, like we used to tell our kids, you learn the rules so you know which ones to break every week. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that the safety, or what do the camp rules look like? That means the safety away from the running back is going to drop down and be the rat. Why? Because when you're playing air raid teams, and I'm talking about traditional classic air raid teams, shallow mesh, Y cross, which a lot of it's West Coast offense, which you're going to see a lot of this stuff with the Chiefs. The shallow is going to come to the side of the back, so you usually get the swing. You get, I blew my own freaking drawing, but you're going to get the swing, the shallow, the dig, and then some people run the post opposite the dig and the go to the dig. Some people go post and then go. That doesn't matter, but that's the guts of the play. And so you want to get the safety driving down to take this crosser from this side, and then this guy going and playing the dig with the backer staying on the back. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All
right. Let's see how they do it. The video's gotten cleaner. As I say that, of course, it... I'm just going to shut the hell up. I might have to freeze frame this a little bit, but you can see. So they actually start to do a drive. It's basically like a double move off a drive route. So you see Kelsey short motion down. Usually this is football 101. When one is on or two is on and one is off, two is going to push vertical, one is going to drive behind. The second guy is pushing to create space for this guy to come behind. Conversely, if two is off and one is on, most of the times you're clearing space to go outside. So that's kind of a basic shit. But what they start to do is they start to both drive inside, and then he breaks back out. And they both break back out. It's a pretty little interesting. It's like most people think double moves. They think, hitch and go, slant and go, shit down the field. But you see a little something interesting here.
The Titans are typically vulnerable near the sidelines. Notice throughout the year that's a place where people like to attack them. And if they're not in man coverage, they're obviously going to be in 2 or 3, and they run a lot of invert too with their cornerbacks dropping as the deep safeties. So there's a lot of opportunity to attack the short outsides and the intermediate outsides against the Titans.
Makes sense. Okay, you get a little 2-man game here, which I don't necessarily understand this. And again, I'm not an NFL defensive coordinator, but you load your front. So usually why you do this, we've talked about loaded fronts before, but why do you do this? You have a dominant rusher, so you put the offense in a pickle. You put your dominant rusher, you can put him to the side of the slot, now, but you're going to get everybody going over there. Where you can really screw with people if that's your dominant guy, because now the offense has to pick what they're going to do. Okay? I slide away from the beast, and then I'm locked here. Because the Chiefs, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I believe they're 90-ish percent 5-man protection. So you basically have to figure this guy is getting out of there. And maybe it's Chip, but he ain't staying in for very long. Now, of course, he hops and he's going. But here's what I don't understand about running the stunt, and I see this all the time on Sundays, and maybe I'm missing something. Now, I know the counter to that is to walk him up and run something in here like this, and then here. But if you don't do something like that, they're going to slide to the right. First of all, they're going to slide that way. I don't know what's going on with Huddle. My drawings aren't disappearing anymore. They're going to slide this way 2 reasons. One, it's away from the back. So usually the center is going to go to this, away from the back. And that's where all the people are. So if you just do this, they're going to pick that up, and you have the extra guard. What I don't understand is why not walk this guy up, walk him up to get his eyes, and now you're just trying to pick the center. Go through here and come around, and now maybe they're worried about his speed on this backer, but I think you could make that pressure better by walking that guy up, because now you have to 5-0 this, and the other thing is shade his ass I
Do
think
you think, and I don't know if a coach would want to do this, but from this alignment for the defensive line, what the Titans have been doing throughout the year is they've been running a loop stunt with Harold Landry, where he actually loops back in and tries to go through the A gap as Autry and Simmons push towards the outside, towards the right tackle. Do you think that possibly they're doing a counter to their own stunt, and maybe they're going to confuse the left tackle because he sees this alignment and he's expecting that loop stunt from Landry, but instead Landry just boom right away hits the speed rush on the outside and actually gets a little bit of pressure on Mahomes. So I don't know if that would be, you're kind of getting inside your own head at that point, but maybe the Titans are trying to counter a look that they've shown a lot on tape in hopes to confuse the offensive line. And even though the advantage you're describing is real, maybe just the Chiefs expecting a certain stunt and the Titans not giving them that stunt, maybe that was the idea. I mean, we can't know for certain without being in the building, but I mean, maybe that's a potential option, because that stunt with Landry coming on the loop with Autry and Simmons stacked to his side like that exact look, the Titans have done that over and over and
that's
over
got to
again
be
this
it
year.
then, because that's not something I can answer without
against,
being a
you can't do that
watching
against
every
the
week.
Chiefs, though, because if you take your edge guy Harold Landry and you loop him to the inside, you're giving Patrick Mahomes a free rein to run out of the pocket to his dominant hand.
Absolutely.
So I think that's why the Titans showed the look of the stunt that they've been using all year, but then didn't actually do it and just went with a straight traditional speed rush from Landry on the outside. So you have the chance to confuse the offensive line from something they've seen on tape, and you don't sacrifice that edge pressure to allow Mahomes a free outlet to the right side. That's just my theory from what I've seen on tape throughout the year. We can't know for certain, but that could be why, I guess.
I mean, that would be a phenomenal reason and great pickup. See, this is why I love having guys like you on, because I don't know that. Like, I don't watch one team every week, and so sometimes you don't know why something's going on. You're like, well, I'm guessing. I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to make sure we don't have audio issues, let alone the other bullshit in here. But yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And to your point, especially versus a guy like Mahomes, you don't want to run that stunt. Like, I've talked about some of those 5-0 games before, and it's all the same shit. I did a video on the Patriots back. Actually, one of the games was against the Chiefs, and we talked about that one. We were talking about the super stick by the end. And first of all, you need a 3 technique that can move.
Yeah.
And
well, Jeffrey Simmons can move.
Right. And you don't
want to. can move. So.
And you don't want to do it versus a quarterback that likes to escape, especially to his right.
Yep. I mean, I found it very interesting the way the Titans executed the same philosophy on defense, but did it in different ways based on the Bills and then the Chiefs. They clearly were much more worried about Patrick Mahomes than they were Josh Allen. There's no way around it. I mean, they were willing to commit 5 to the Bills on the rush. They were not willing to do that all day. The Titans only sent more than 5, I think, or more than 4 twice the whole day. Now, they brought, a little bit of corner pressure off the slot from Molden. They brought David Long on an inside blitz, but every single time they did that, they dropped out an end. Yeah. They would not commit more than 4 rushers all day long, and that was a big difference that I saw from the Bills game to this game. That was pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, and you'll see it show up here. So this time they actually dropped the safety to the side. The back releases 2. So they're worried about the bender. So again, that rule was a camp rule that was used for a way to just get the coverage installed. But when you're playing a team that likes to run a bunch of benders and stuff, this is what you're going to get. They end up doubling the bender here. They do a good job of sorting out this little this little spacing. And the Titans did a good job of mixing up their coverage. Now, I say that they won and they were successful. So, yeah, it was great. But to me, here's what I saw the game as. They got out in front, and then they were just one step ahead of the Chiefs all game long. And there's a little mini series, and it's the most boring shit of all time. It's slant arrow on the backside of 3x1, and you can see the little game within the game going on between the coordinators and the backer and Mahomes. And that's the shit I love. And you can see what's happening there. So here's one of the 5-man pressures. This is my own language, the old TCU stuff. So we're getting 4 from the side to the side of the back. I always want to say boundary. You can tell I was in college and mostly high school. On the short side of the field, quote unquote. But this is why I always bitch about tight splits. The Titans were playing man on long yardage situations. When they were in 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, they were mostly playing zone. Yes. And this is the problem that you get. Now, again, with that being said, I'm about to show you a snap of man. But the problem when you get all these guys in here tight is you can't identify the pressures. Okay. They get 2 off the back. Now we're going to break this play down a lot because I really, really like this. First of all, okay, let's watch the blitz. So let's go to the end zone real quick. This is why I'm so into huddle, because I can use I have this remote right here.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk offline. Yeah, we're going to have to talk offline about it.
And so the issue we have now is, but it would be so much smoother because you're trying to stream off a stream. If this was like, QuickTime or whatever, it'd be better. We're going to figure this out. And maybe it'll take this whole year to get it figured out. But they actually create a 4-2 situation. So against this type of stuff, I like coming away from the back. Because here's what's going to happen. And again, I'm going to say this again. I always say this every week. I'm a former high school and college coach. I worked at 4 colleges. 2, I was a low man on the totem pole, gopher type guy. And then the two that I actually coached at were JC and Division III. I'm a nobody at the end of the day. I'm just a old high school coach that likes to come in here on Tuesdays and talk some shit, okay? But I'll say this. Kansas City is a 10 personnel look team. They're an 11 personnel team, but they're going to line up in 10 all the time. And you can see it. The Titans actually, their game plan was to set the 3 technique away from the back when they were in even fronts. But when you're 5-0 in this, which is what you're trying to get, they actually slide this. Okay? Very, very simple. Now, I understand they're trying to come from the one receiver side and all that, and that's where the back is. And if the back releases, then it really doesn't matter with the protections. But attack away from the back. They're actually able, because they slide this guy, or they slant the nose to the side of the back, which brings, now you have a 4-on-2 situation. So when I'm studying pass protection, I don't know why it's not letting me clear out. This is the biggest problem. But the problem that you have is what I look for when I'm playing teams that want to half slide odd looks is, will the center go with the nose? Because if so, here's what you do. You walk this guy up. Okay? You walk him up. He's already out here. You walk him up, or you keep him back. It doesn't matter. And then you bring 4 from this side. Because now, if this guy's going to stay, right? So all you need to do is bring him, and then whoever's over here. Now, it's tough because I can tell this was a split inside blitz. Meaning they are trying to, this is really freaking annoying that it's not letting me get rid of this shit now. It's not letting me trash usually it lets me, I'll just do that. It lets me trash my drawings. But see, they now, how they make this right. So this is how you build a slant. This is really, really good for coaches on here. Especially in odd front world, okay? This is huge. Especially in odd front worlds, where this center is going to lock on that nose. Unless it's a full slide team you're seeing from pass protections from the 80s. And I'm talking full slide. I know people say full slide is half slide. I'm talking about straight turn protection, where you're coming back, you're doing this, and you're getting a guy off the edge. I call that full slide. I call 2-jet and all that shit half slide. Okay? You want to proof your blitz by doing something like this, if they can pick it up with 4 and 2. Because right now, the only way they can pick this blitz up, let's just do a standard NCAA blitz. I'm here. I'm off the edge, right? Center locks on. The guard picks up the stick. Back off the edge. Or a guy off the edge. Corner off the edge. Back's got him. Tackle picks us up. Or whatever combination. This is how you pick that up, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The other way, I mean, that's basically the centers within the protection. So what guys will do, if they try to super overload, know where you're coming from, is like TCU's do this all the time, is they put the end right here, and I thought this was really fascinating. They would run a tech stunt on this side or an X stunt on this side. And what it would do is if they tried any bullshit and tried to get all four of these guys over here and the back, and they try to cheat it, you are balancing yourself out. Okay? I want to talk about another pressure we're not going to talk about tonight. One of my favorite examples of this is good shit now. Okay? This is a blitz called Double Dog from Bama. Okay? And they would bring nickel. They'd bring the end. They'd blitz this guy, and this guy had the back. So imagine it's an even front. There's an imaginary 3 technique in the ends here, and then the other backer has the running back. This was a Bama staple since Nick Saban's been wherever. Okay? Mm-hmm. They don't do it so much anymore. They're not a big 5-man team, and I always wondered, because I'd seen this blitz that I call the NCAA blitz, that everybody's run of all time. Like I just drew. It's just out of 4 down. You're really bringing 4 from the side, though. And my question was, most people, when they see this stuff and when they do this stuff, they slant the 2 interior guys, like everybody and their brother. They would do this, right? Norm, that's like day 1 overload pressure. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, the reason that you run the twist is to proof your blitz. So if they try and they know it's coming, or you tip it early, they can't slide everybody this way and have this guy block. Because this ton stunt now, that's where they screw you. And that's a way to make the offense pay if they try and overplay your blitz.
Right.
Does that make sense? I know it's a really long way.
Basically, if the right guard slides over too much, then the tackle the nose looping back around to the other side is going to have an open gap.
Yeah, and that's where you put in cheat-proof ways that basically make the offense pay. If they get lucky, because the only way you can really pick this shit up is if you slide and get the back to the same side. So how do you account for that? Well, one, you have a mirrored blitz that you flip. If you know that they spot it and you could tell that they're trying to get both guys over there, you can flip the blitz, but that's a pain in the ass. So that's how you proof it to make sure that the offense can't get lucky, if that makes sense.
You hedge your bet.
Yeah, and that's what they do by bringing this guy all the way around, because look what happens. Now, 65 does a fantastic job coming back and seeing that. But, I mean, you almost get 2 off the back. I mean, look at 57 here. He's got that. He's like, oh, shit. Okay, I'm coming back out. Oh, my God. All hell's breaking loose.
There's so much. I'm just going to touch people.
I don't even know. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what's going on. Help. And what would
I got to be honest. My attention just immediately goes to Danico Autry on the single side on 75. I mean, for a guy in his 30s, he just completely whoops Mike Remmers on this.
So bad.
I mean, he was great in this game. I don't know if you're just looking for the techniques and things like that, but overall, Danico Autry, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. He pretty much dominated this game from the interior, from the outside, rips, swims, bull rushes. I mean, he had the whole toolbox open in this game.
Oh, he was great. Completely great.
Yep, I mean, great free agent signing.
Oh yeah, better than the 2 they had last year. Well, I guess one of them clowning.
Yeah,
all right, so this is how they do it. This is how the Titans get them into this. Is they make it right by coming around. Now, here's what I would like to have seen. My man here has this back unless he flares. There's Adjurass. Now, what is he being coached? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's David Long, the linebacker out of West Virginia.
You know what I do, but when I cover a team, is I go on Madden to see their Madden ratings. Does that make me a weirdo?
You know what, man? Side note from all of the nerdy stuff, but people always ask me like um, how I know, all these different players on all these different teams, the linemen, and my answer is pretty simple. I played a ton of Madden. I haven't been able to the last few years, but I played so much Madden growing up that you just learn the players' names. You know what I mean? So no shame in that. All right.
Absolutely. All right. So here's where disguising is a big piece of everything. And I don't understand why people don't do this shit more. The Titans do a really good job of this. Okay. So Mahomes think he has one high. So this is a spacing concept. So, this is elementary as it gets. And I don't mean that as any sort of disparaging remark. It's just you're trying to horizontally space the defense. You pack everybody in here. The Titans actually have a lot of people tackle to tackle. So and you're showing 3D. So Mahomes is probably sitting there going, "Oh shit, this is easy 5." Okay, but they play too deep and they push
Fire
this.
rolls back. Yep.
And now
the Titans move their safeties around so much.
And that's a great job by Long. If Long hunts his hip, gets underneath that, he may pick that off and walk in.
Close. He was close.
But just something simple. That's what I love about this game is there's so many just little pieces that, before I knew this stuff, I missed that, why did he throw that ball? Why did he double clutch? Why does that play? Like this is just such a throwaway. It's a spacing concept. It's in the dirt, next play. But that's the type of shit. I mean, if I saw a defense line up like this, I'm licking my chops. Because our whole rule, even the freaking 17-year-olds, was when they get tight, we get wide. When they get wide, we get tight. Everybody scrunches you in here to get you outside, and they spread you out to hit you inside. Simple. Yeah. And they give them that look. They give the rat the cheese. And Mahomes is like, that should be wide-ass open. And then, whoop. Great job.
Yeah, Simple. It's stuff like that that disrupts drives because those are easy completions, 4, 5, 6 yards. Now you're in second and manageable, and it keeps you out of third and long. So little plays like that where it's a chess game and the Titans are able to win that little battle right there. Now you got a second and long situation, and you're on your way.
Absolutely. Okay, here's my little game within a game piece that I really enjoyed here. We cook defenders. Watch what Mahomes does with his eyes. Okay, so they're playing, again, they're showing 3 buzz, meaning the strong safety is down in the curl. Now, he's kind of giving it away by hanging back all the way over here, but whatever. I'm saying, I'm pointing with my mouse. You obviously can't see. And now I'm afraid to draw because I can't get rid of my drawings. So he is on the half. So they're kind of giving up the disguise because even though this safety is down, he's hanging back here. But that's okay. Okay. Watch this defender right here and what he does. So this is cover 2 on this side. Okay. It's Tampa. This is like Tampa 101. Okay. They're playing club technique or whatever people call it. I don't know. Club to me is press cover 2. We call it squeeze. That's what Saban calls the club, and I know a lot of NFL teams use this. Now, technically, if you're just drawing this on a board, he should be your weak curl defender, so he should be straight back. And you can see the game within the game. Okay? So Mahomes looks front side. This play is called Colt. It is one of the Chiefs' favorite 2-minute plays. They also love it versus Tampa. The Cardinals do it. I think Bama does a version of this. Shout out to Chris Brown from Smart Football. Because I study shit from a defensive perspective. So I know these plays. But I'm like, all right, what are these guys calling this shit? I don't know. Help me out here.
Yeah, that's my biggest gap personally coming from where I came from is terminology. Like some of the things you're saying, club and stuff like that. It's stuff that I recognize with my eyes, but don't know what it's called at that level. You know what I mean?
Right. So one thing I'll say, and I know this is going to be like sacrilege, and this is a very small sample size. Please, nobody freak out and send me or put me to old takes exposed. But I will say this. I think Henny did a better job in this game with his eyes than Mahomes. Because he gets in the game, and maybe this is an adjustment, but you'll see it. He snaps the ball and stares right here. So they're going to run this where 3 is going to clear they're going to sit down. They're going to sit down. You're trying to high-low the middle read defender in Tampa 2. Easy money. But because Mahomes catches the ball and looks front side right now, this backer goes right there. Now, he's looking at the backer, but you can tell where he's going to throw. He ain't going to throw over here. So he's able to drive on that, catch, tackle, get a few yards. No big deal. Okay?
Do you think Mahomes was worried about the pressure since he's in the end zone? And he said, screw it, I'm not going to have time to look off. I'm just going to go where I want to go?
I don't think so, because he does it not there. I mean, yeah, look where he ain't throwing over here. And it's not a big deal. And this is where it's kind of interesting. But here's what's, to me, that is fascinating. And this is, again, this show may go down the toilet because everybody else is like, yeah, this isn't interesting. I don't know what you're talking about. But normally in 2D, if you're man matching or you're zone matching patterns, you're not playing, because I always give spot dropping zone defense shit. This is where you can steal guys. And this is where those 200 3 deep hot pressures are good, because you're bringing pressure. The QB, he can't look over here and then come back over here. With an outside release here and 2 releasing out to the flat, if you were playing straight zone match, this defender would have to play the curl of 1. Because the corner would play the swing in the back. They just leave this guy open. He's wide ass open.
Yeah.
And I bet you, my buddy Mike Kafka, when they came over the sideline with the Surface Pro, like, hey, dude, we're going to run this play again. I think they're playing your eyes. They're overplaying the front side. And I'll be honest, the Titans did some shit that, like, if you told me before the game, the Titans played a lot of cover 2 versus trips, I'd be like, well, they must have got their ass kicked, right? And they didn't. They were great. Okay, so here's a little bit later. I think this is with Henny in the game. Same deal. 51's now straight back. They can't defend it. Ball's got to come out fast. And this is the downside of doing this, playing this man technique. It's like press zone, but you'll see there's a way to tag the backside of cover 2. You can play like man. We used to do it all the time. Okay. But they get the ball in the flat. Nothing crazy, but and Henny may have not done anything with his eyes. 51 just doesn't get influenced. And he actually does look over there. So it was just all luck. Again, I was a lot of times when I'm watching film and I'm game planning, as I come up with hypothesis, and I just try and basically disprove it. So this, like if I was watching this and I had to defend the Chiefs next week, or not the Chiefs, but like a team that had a quarterback that went out, I'd be sitting here going, okay, evaluating. I think the backup's better with his eyes. Now I watch this play and I'm like, no, I was wrong. I basically just try to make statements and then try to disprove prove it or disprove it.
Hey, that's science, man. That's the whole thing. You have an idea of what you think, and then you try to figure out how you're wrong. And if you're not, well, there you go. There's your answer.
Now, I think this is the play with Henny. Or is this Mahomes? This might still be Mahomes.
Yeah, that's Mahomes.
Okay, so I was wrong. And that's fine. I'm going to be wrong all the fucking time.
It's okay to be wrong.
So now he's looking front side. They're thinking it's that play. Then he's going to pop it back here. And because 51's cheating his eye, now the safety's kind of at home. Again, a lot of this stuff towards the end, they're up by 24 points.
Yeah.
It's just like, or whatever the hell it was. But you can see where the voids are now. And if you do a better job with your eyes, you can open things up. Now, one of the ways to combat that, again, is to lock the backside. So you're playing 2 on the front side, whatever you want to play. This is Tampa 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then man up on the backside.
Titans run this a ton, where they just carry the guy who tries to get in the hole in between the safeties. They just carry him with the linebacker the whole way.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see some later on, some non-traditional Tampa stuff.
Do you think, though, that the outside slot, I mean, in theory, wouldn't you be able to slide him in on a deep dig? And if that linebacker in the hole carries the guy all the way up the field, up the seam, then that deep dig should be wide open if you have time for it, right?
This guy should play that. You talking about from outside?
The outside slot, yeah.
Yeah, the curl player is responsible for that.
Right there, okay, yeah. If he takes it, if he's watching eyes and the guy gets behind him, like the Titans got hit on that to the outside a few times this year in cover 2, where they're slipping them in, right in front of the safety, right past the flat defender. takes a lot of time because it's deep down the field, like 15 yards.
And then they start mixing up coverages. This was kind of the fun. So they're going one now. Just straight up one rat, like, screw it. So, man, and again, they're up by 24, so you have a lot more freedom. Man, now I have the back, and I'm the rat. And I'm just playing down. It's 3rd and 2, so you're going to play a little closer, tighter coverage. They get the ball in the flat. First down. Clock winds.
I would say that's the number one coverage that the Titans use. Now, in my terminology, from out most of my life, that middle zone defender there that's not in man, I would call him a robber. Or is that you prefer the term rat, or are we talking about two different things?
Well, so it depends on what they're doing. So, and it depends on the family. So, in cover one, by the way, these are all fantastic questions. But so rat is a technique where if something comes across, I'm going to pick it up. And then
okay,
somebody else is going to take my guy, or take my job, rather.
Right.
You know, a guy that's playing robber to me is a coverage, and it means something to everybody else. Where you're kind of just looking around, looking for work, reading the quarterback's eyes. It's almost like the inverse of box one defense. It's like, we're going to man up everybody and then just stick a guy and just look around for shit. Or, hey, look at the formation. Hill's on the ball, and he's the number 3 receiver. He's going to run the over. All right, I'll play that. All right, Hill's the number 2. Kelsey has a tight split. You know.
I feel like they did that with Kelsey a lot in this game with Byard. They would have Crookshank manned up, and they would have Byard playing kind of like a robber zone. You know, you would know the better terminology than I exactly. But I feel like they did that and just shaded him towards Kelsey. Because I don't know, in my opinion, and you watch the Chiefs probably more than I do, but in my opinion, Kelsey is the lifeblood of the offense, not Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill makes the big plays, but consistently drive after drive after drive, getting the Chiefs down the field, I feel like Kelsey is really the most important target you need to take away.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that was interesting to me was, I mean, this is what's crazy. So this is 2 minute. This is like the story of this game. So where's the scoreboard shot? All right, there's 2:24. I got to turn this off. I don't know why this is doing this. No wonder I'm not getting good scoreboard shots. All right, so this is like the 16th defensive snap of the game, and they're in 2 minutes. Okay, now this is a play. It's a layered over route. This is the hitch and pitch. But I just made this up as a joke, or not even a joke, but just as this is Nissan. I was talking about guys that run non-traditional Tampa and how they tag it to know who's playing the have or who's the middle read. And I said, like, you could do cars, and Nissan would mean the nickel would be the middle read, and Subaru would mean the strong safety, and Ford would be the free safety. I just made this shit up. First of all, I fucked it up because I said Nissan, and he goes and plays the half. So this is not a real tag. They're not. I don't know the real tags, but this is the non-traditional stuff, Tampa stuff that really screws with people. And what P's the legacy that he left with the Titans, and he's still doing, is they run all the creepers, the pressures, the simulated pressures with it, and they really screw with the backside safety. And that's where the Fangio, Staley influence has been left all over the league, is really screwing with this guy, and then conversely now starting to mess with this guy. So you watch, I mean, this looks like 2 deep coverage, right? But you're thinking, I'm here. What have they been doing with the Mike linebacker? What's the Chiefs' number one concept? The Colt play. That's how I learned it. Colt was the in with the seam, and he basically just trails and sits down. Well, you're reading this guy as your Tampa player, right? You're high-lowing off this guy. Because you might say, why do this shit? Why would we do this? This makes no sense. I don't understand why guys do this. I don't understand these plays. And sometimes, let me let you in on a secret, Tyler. I don't know why the hell they're doing this shit. You really have to think this stuff through. Like, if you just showed me this snap in a vacuum, I'd be like, why are they doing that? That just seems like they're just doing shit to do shit. But knowing that the Chiefs' favorite 2 minute play is that Colt play, and that they're trying to high-low the mic, well, now change your read. So this now is the Tampa. So to answer your question, the guy that's the middle runner in the 2 deep stuff, where you were saying running down the middle,
Yeah.
That's mostly called middle read. That's what all the Tampa 2 guys call it, Lovey and Tony Dungy and all those. They call it the middle read player. So I'm looking split safety. I'm thinking, all right, we're going to high-low this side. And then all of a sudden, he's over the top. There's your middle read guy. So now you've turned yourself into, you're lined up in middle of the field open. You play a snap of middle of the field closed, but you're actually, and this is where I kind of laugh at some of this shit. You know, this is technically a middle of the field open coverage, Tampa 2. Does that look like middle of the field open to you? No, there's a fucking guy standing right there.
Right.
Like, I don't understand this, but I love stuff like this. It's a way to be creative. It's a way just to pluck down the ball. Now they ran the hitch and pitch play, which I love.
So question for you real quick.
Yes.
On this, so what you're essentially saying is this is cover 2 with Byard as the middle read, not cover 3.
It's Tampa 2. It's Tampa 2. So Tampa 2. So here's where it screws people up. Tampa 2 is cover 3. It's cover 2 when the ball snapped, and then as the play develops, it morphs into 3 deep.
Because the middle read guy gains depth.
He becomes your middle safety. He's playing from short. He's still playing top down. He's not like a 3 deep guy where he's like way the hell out of there.
Right.
But to me, that screws your picture because it looks like 2 deep. And then all of a sudden it turns into 3 deep, but it's with 2 high. And all you're trying to do now, again, this is designed over route play. They're trying to get the over to one of these guys and then play hitch and pitch. But I just wanted to go over that look. And you'll see it one more time. Ignore the Nissan shit. All right, so this is...
They're at Nissan Stadium. That's what you meant.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what I meant. All right, so I texted... A little name drop here. My back hurts from picking up all these names dropping. So I actually texted Jim Leonard before I came on today. I've been talking to him about something recently, and so I bothered him. As he came in, how do you guys play 4 strong load in Tampa? I mean, how do you defend 4 to one side? And he goes, you pray. And we laughed, and we actually had the same way to defend it. But it makes you feel good when you watch something and you're like, okay, I don't know what the hell to do here. Wouldn't know what to do here. And then you talk to a guy like Jim Leonard, who's, for my money, one of the best coordinators. And I'm biased because he's obviously a friend of mine. I've had him on Patreon, and I went and visited and all that stuff. But it's reassuring that, you know, you down yourself sometimes like, shit, man, I don't know. I can't figure this out. And then you talk to a guy like that, and he's like, I don't know. So.
Right. It's not just you.
It's not just me. All right. So they're doing the same thing. Here's the thing I see about the Titans. I wish they lined up in a defined. If they're going to do these, oh no, I'm getting the dreaded loading bar. If they're going to do these cool, like line up, give them that shell, give them the look that you want. Like sometimes when they disguise, they're just kind of milling around, and you're almost tipping off that you're going to do something funky. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell this is. I mean, and I guess there's a benefit to it, but if you're trying to talk somebody into something, because right now, to me, this looks like either it's going to be 3 buzz, so he's coming down to play the strong hook, but he's too wide. So that kind of screws that up. Or
I mean, if you're trying to disguise something, you're trying to confuse somebody, you got to make them think they're going to see something to start it. I mean, if you're Mahomes, you're like, what the heck is this? You don't have anything to be caught off guard by because you're going into it with an open mind.
Yeah, you want to lull somebody to sleep. If you're trying to do something like this, in my opinion, again, I don't make as much money.
Well, the Titans are 1 year removed from a 51% third down conversion rate allowed, 19 sacks. Let's not act like they're a dominant defense. They could probably still be making some mistakes out there.
Yeah, it's actually, we talked about that. They had the worst. So this whatever statistical website I was looking at, they'd only tracked it back to 2003, and they had the worst third down defense in the last 20 years. And it could have gone even further, but the stats stopped. But here's a snap of it. This is a problem when you get 4 to one side. So for all you coaches in there, so now you're playing Tampa where, okay, so this is your half player. This is your middle read. He's got to push to be your strong curl. Your weak curl player is here. When you get this, basically you're going to have to lock this on, and he's going to have to push out. So what should happen here is the corner's got to play high-low on this, which, again, they're up by a lot, so you're going to give up the swing. You're going to play deep to short here. My man's going to push out to wall here, and then you're really 3-on-4 short. If they all stop and throw the ball, you don't have enough guys. You're going to have to get this guy involved, but he's your middle read guy, so you don't want to get too aggressive. But, like, it was the perfect play call into this coverage by chance. And then, I don't know why. This is my issue with Mahomes, and I know they're up by a lot. And I know I've also been on record as saying that he could be the best of all time. So I hate to be critical of a guy who's so good, but
He's certainly, I mean, I would say he's probably the most talented quarterback. I mean, I'm 30, so I'm not going to pretend like I've seen every quarterback ever, and my brain didn't even work until I was about 18. So for my money, Mahomes is the most talented passer I've ever seen outside of maybe like Vic or like Favre.
Yeah. Well, and he's athletic. So he's got Marino's arm, which I think may be, I'm very biased, but could possibly be the best ever. But then he's got the legs of somebody. But right now, rip this. You've not distorted their under coverage, right? So you're not like, because why you do this is to try to horizontally stretch the defense and then bang it in there. They have body positioning. Turn and throw this right now. And this is the problem. He waits, he throws it out
He
there.
wants to make the big play. They're down by a lot, and he wants to I think that's, if we talk about a flaw for Mahomes, it's he wants to make the big play all the time, and it's really bit him this year because he doesn't have the protection to wait all day to make plays, and that's why he's thrown interceptions. He's trying to make too many plays.
All right, this is awesome. We tried this at the high school level. It sucked. I think you need to have some dudes for this. We got it from TCU. It's called Snake. That's what they called it. I don't know what anybody else could call it.
Right.
Okay, some of the weeks we do these, I know what the other team calls this shit. I do not know what the Titans call stuff. I do a little bit, but because of my relationship with the Peace family, I ain't never going to say, to be honest. So, but hold on one second. Everything just freaked out. All right. So this is kind of cool. So they've been mush rushing a lot inside. So what you do is you bring them under. You actually pinch them down in here too, and you kind of mush here, and then you loop late. Now, you have to have some athletes to do this shit.
If I recall, I think I recall this play. Number 92, the right end, Ola Adaney, just gets crushed when he tries to do this.
But that's fine because you want to shorten the edge. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get everybody down in here and then shorten the edge. So he actually doesn't do, I mean, I would like to see him fight upfield, but that's not as big of a problem on that type of play. I'm so mad at this video, man. I worked my ass off on this. All right, let's get into the fun blitzes. Sorry, I'm just venting. All right.
Oh, you're fine. I think the video looks pretty good. I mean, you know how it's supposed to look, but just from my vantage point, it looks pretty good. Quickly, though, I do want to ask Jordan Silviera, are you a Chiefs fan? A lot of your answers would lead me to believe that you are a Chiefs fan. So
I think
just
he's
let
like
me know.
me. I think he hates everybody. He's like me. I'm like just mad at the world. Jordan's one of that guy is in here. He's the first in, the last out. He's awesome. All right.
He is a Bears fan. Okay.
Yeah, I did them the second week. And he was loving it. All right. So you're going to see this be good and you're going to see it be bad. I've been running this call since 2008, my second year coaching. Okay. This is your standard fare. Bring the nickel from the field. You're rolling back to 3 deep. You're dropping the boundary side end. They mug up the mic. So what they're trying to do here, let's go to the end zone copy. So the mug makes this hard to block. And I talk about this all the time. 5-0ing. He's making the check right now.
Well, you had mentioned this earlier when we were watching clips. You were basically saying if they walk down the linebacker, it would make more sense. So you're finally getting what you were hoping for.
Right. Especially if you're going to bring edge pressure. So by walking this guy up here, they have to 5-0 this. So I'm going to block this guy. I'm going to block here. The center has to take him, which is why he doesn't know that he's gone now. So you can see he's up there until he looks down and then he backs up, which is smart. Okay. So now it's man-to-man, okay? I have to man all this up. Okay, here is the issue. The back is now supposed to be coast to coast, meaning he's got to block whatever he can see.
He does not.
No, because their offenses get him out, and then here comes the nickel. Now, he gets the ball out and he catches it. I mean, that's a good play by the offense. One for the good guys. But that's also a long-ass way to go, too. Here it is in 2x2. Now, you can see the difference. Let's go to the end zone, actually. See the difference now. Because they don't mug, they're able to slide. They're sliding away from the back. You can see he actually bangs back. So the slide should be here, here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to work first to outside. Nobody's coming. You can see the guard bangs back to get some body presence. Okay, but now because they didn't 5-0 this, they're able to fan out to it and pick it up. Actually better coverage though. Now, I like this pressure versus this stuff when there's 2 receivers or 3 receivers and you switch it to a backer. Now you're going to see some problems with the Titans with the coverage. This is where this becomes problematic. So now the Titans, what they're going to do is they've set them up with outside. They've picked up the edge rush. So now they're like, all right, here's the other thing is, and I'm going to critique this. They should be, now it's hard because they've been setting their 3 technique to the tight end every time. But what makes this blitz better is they're going here. You want to go here, and then the nickel that's coming off the edge, bring him underneath. That occupies the guard. Now they can fan out to it with this guy being a G or a shade or whatever you want to call him, a 2-eye. They can pick it up. He's trying to tell him to get over there too. He's like, get your ass, especially when he moves back, get your ass over here. Cleans up the blitz. Now, if that's a drop back pass, let's say that's an RPO, it's going to be a TFL because this guy's going to flatten out and tackle the stretch. Mm-hmm. If he pulls it, it's boot, anything else. This guy's in his face right now. We call this lion. This is a concept that's known around the league as a lion. But you could see the coverage is the problem piece for the defense. So now let's watch the wide copy. The video's getting really sluggish. Come on, man.
I know that we're drilling down on scheme and everything here, but an individual play here, this play was actually called back for penalty. If you watch Byard 31 fly up the field and take on the screen blocker, and he does it so aggressively that the guy has to hold him and it gets the play called back. So just, I know we're drilling into the scheme of the matter, but also good teaching for a coach to say, hey, look, you got beat on this play. It's 2-on-2 blocking on, but if you come through, you play aggressive, you play physical, who knows what you could get out of it. He forces the holding call, play doesn't count. So that individual effort, just given effort, can do a lot. I know we're intense in the scheme and everything, but the football still is about one man's will versus another. So love seeing Kevin Byard do stuff like that. I would be showing that on tape if I were a coach to the team, like, hey, look at this effort and what it accomplished, even though you didn't make the play.
Yeah. And if I was the head coach, I'd be MFing the coordinator for being short. This guy should be walked out here. Okay, this is bad defense now. Okay, let's go back to the end. Well, I'm not going to go back to the end zone. They're slanting. He's up the field, and he's underneath. Everything is moving this way. So if you're a second-level defender, you should be over here. One, because they have 3 receivers. So he should have bounced out right now. I know he's trying to tell. This is where do your 111th kicks in. He's so focused on moving this fat ass over here. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. See, my high school film days came back.
I won't tell
I
you're
crazy.
Don't
I
worry.
got crazy. That guy's in way better shape than I'll ever be, and I called him a fat ass.
Yeah, he would eat you alive.
I mean that it's a term of endearment. He's trying to get his ass over here. He doesn't walk out. I mean, absolutely. And if I am Vrabel, I'm showing this in a team meeting, and I'm saying exactly what you're saying. And then as soon as the team leaves, I'm grabbing. Shane Bowen's still the DC, right?
Well, that's officially, finally, yes, he is. But Mike Vrabel's an egomaniac. You think he really doesn't have his hands all over the defense? I would call it a split duty. But
Who's
yeah,
the
Bowen
Who's the inside backers coach?
Hazlitt.
All right, well then I'm choke slamming Hazlitt because I know that's Vrabel's thing. He likes to pin people up on walls, which when it's Urban Meyer, I'm all for. If you haven't heard that story, I'll tell it at the end.
Yeah, I would love that. I don't know that one, and I'm not a big Urban Meyer fan, despite being an Ohio State, an Ohio bred and born guy. So I'd love to hear that story.
Yeah, I mean, but real quick, they're short over there. They got two blockers. They got two blockers and two defenders. You at least want to be +1 on the defense. Even numbers, you're still not feeling better about. They're short. All right, so here's the quick story as I watch the film. Okay. Now this shit bothers me. Okay. You're in 3-by-1. Bring the backer out here. Showing too high. Have him split the difference. He comes off the edge. You leave the nickel covered down over 2. This is the type of shit that drives me insane. As somebody watching this stuff, like, you can't tell me that guy's a better rusher than your inside backer. So it's 3-by-1. You switch the blitz to your backer. He's walked out of the box. You run 3 buzz and you have him drop number 3. You know, there's your hook defender and you're good. But now you've got a guy coming from way the hell out here. Mm-hmm. He gets the ball out. Yeah, and he misses it, but they mug up. I wish he would hold that longer. But see 5-0. So they 5-0 it. So everybody's in man. Of course, I love this. Let me check release. And there's a guy coming hot off the side.
Yeah. Can I say this, that Brian Dable is the OC for Buffalo? Am I right on that?
I think so, yeah.
He noticed this because what Buffalo did on Monday night was anytime they saw or they would line up in that formation and Molden would creep like that off the slot, they would just go hot to Beasley right in the slot, or they'd run RPO action and then just immediately get it to Beasley in the slot. And it was a numbers problem for the Titans. Now, they weren't able to do it enough to win the game, but they threw up 31 points. And that was something that, obviously other people are seeing this on tape and they're going to kill the Titans with that throughout the season when they're bringing that slot corner like that and not, bringing somebody out to cover it.
Yeah, what was their counter off of that? Were they showing stuff and then dropping out, or were they just were banging their head against the wall?
Yeah, basically what they would do is that they would show the Elijah Molden blitz, and then they would get the weak side linebacker, the other side linebacker would blitz through the B gap. Basically and then they wouldn't blitz Molden and have him stay where he was at. So, that's my layman's explanation. I'm sure you could, create rocket science from my explanation there, but I try to make things as simple as possible.
Your game is simple
for my audience.
It's people like me that make it hard. All right, so quick story. This has been corroborated by like 4 different people. So Urban Meyer is talking shit to the Ohio State coach's staff in a meeting room. His big thing was he always picked on a coach and was on his ass or whatever.
Right. Whipping.
So he was in the room. He's talking shit about the defense. He starts challenging the coach's manhood. Now, this is the coaches, not the players. He says something to Vrabel. They start getting into it. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, he has Urban picked up and slammed against the wall and said something to him like, I make more money than, or I have more money than you'll ever have, or something, which is kind of crazy to me because you're Urban Meyer. You can earn until you're dead. Where if you're in the NFL, you're only a few years, but whatever. I don't need this shit. I make more money than you'll ever have, or some shit like this. And then quit right there and was the inside linebackers coach at the Texans like a week later.
In the chat, they're saying they believe that was Tom Herman, not Urban Meyer. I just want to give you an opportunity to be sure. Sounds like Urban Meyer.
I heard it was Urban.
And why would Tom Herman and Mike Vrabel be talking to each other in meetings when one's defense and one's offense? I don't know how often that crossover happens, but
I could see. It's a staff meeting, so they're all sitting together. But you have multiple staff meetings a day, especially in season. But I can't imagine if Herman was the one talking shit. Then I could definitely see him putting him up against the wall because I don't know why an offensive coach would be talking shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's it's one of my favorite stories in football. All right, if you know me and you've scrounged around on my YouTube channel, you know that I love me some Whip Fire Zone. For those of you who don't know, Whip Fire Zone is in the bonus Fire Zone family. What does that mean? It means instead of rushing 5 like a traditional Fire Zone, we're only rushing 4. Now you might say, well, what's the difference between that and the simulated pressure? In theory, there is none. However, the NFL guys that built these pressures, Whip is old. And so what they did is they taught Fire Zone coverage. I believe this goes back to Don Capers, Marvin Lewis, somewhere in there. And so they said, all right, we're going to play Fire Zone on 2, Fire Zone on 2 over here, and then we're going to have a bonus Fire Zone dropper. Because if you know, I talked about this on the video, if you're playing Fire Zone, you have to play inside out. You can play outside here, but whoever's dropping off a 3 has to play inside out because you're short a guy, so you don't have that extra hook defender. And then what happens is they can throw outs to number 3. So, but Whip Fire Zone is the guy to the field is going to drop outside of 3, take anything out to the flat, which allows him to drop inside more and protect the weakness of 3 deep. And you get a rusher, you get a backer on a back. And if you're playing the Chiefs, it's fantastic because how do teams beat blitzes? They flare backs, especially the Chiefs, right? Well, they're not going to peel with this because they have the extra guy in coverage. He'll play this. He'll play this. He can play more down the middle now because he doesn't have to worry about walling 3 so tight because you have the extra dropper. And so now you have a possible one-on-one with the back. If you're releasing the back, I've seen guys come sky-ass free. This is a very simple, versatile blitz. It's all over the league. It's all over college football. I did a whole video on it. It's like 45 minutes long. It's got clips of Stanford when Fangio was there. The Niners when Fangio was there. Aranda. It's got clips of everybody. Patrick Willis running this shit. It's a really good video. It's a simple blitz that you can put in your program. And literally, why do they tell this in the league? The video I did was a lot about the Bears. When you have a guy like Khalil Mack, if you don't teach it like with this bonus Fire Zone drop, you got to teach him in all these different deep drops. So if you're not doing this a lot, literally what they tell the guy is beat the shit out of number 3, drop to about 5 yards, and take him outside. Take anything outside, really. That's it. So basically, I'm playing Fire Zone coverage, Fire Zone coverage, Fire Zone coverage, 3 deep, 3 deep, 3 deep, and then I'm going to alter him and play him inside a little bit more because I have a guy outside of 3, so he doesn't have to worry about being so tight. Because how do you beat Fire Zones? You throw double outs, you throw flood routes, you send 3 on and out. I had to show Whip. They didn't really do anything here, but I had to. It's the gratuitous Whip viewing. Now, the one time they don't release the back, but you can see, I've seen NFL teams time and time again release this guy out, and this guy is Scott-ass free to the quarterback. I don't like his drop. He needs to overdrop 3. He needs to be outside of 3. That's like the number one thing. Never turn back to the inside like that. And if he just rips it to Kelsey right now, I know he does a little delay. If he rips that ball out there, it's 5 yards. Here's another whip. The back is strong, so now that they point it out, he can pick it up. But you see, wins one-on-one, and he gets what looks to be a TFL. We'll watch the end zone of this.
David Long, man. He's just played so well this year. I mean, he's undersized, so he's not great at shedding blocks once they get on his body. But he uses his quickness and his athleticism to just slip around blocks and these bigger guys. Mm-hmm. And, he's just so intense and plays with such physicality for a guy his size. Hope he can stay healthy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Here's a quick point. If they don't run whip here and they run a regular Fire Zone and they don't drop this guy, he goes out to the flat. They have a blocker here, because this is the read. You're reading this guy right here. All right. But if they recognize the will's coming, that's their number one blitz when the will, or whomever you want to call this guy, is coming weak, is whip. But because he's outside leverage of 3, you can add a body out there, or else, he throws that ball out there and it's literally 2-on-3 and he's gone. All right, I'm going to pick the pace up a little bit. All right, cover 4, some quarters clips. They did a pretty good job. Corner up top here. This is a damn near perfect clip of how to play the post in cover 4. He's bailing. He cuts it off. And he is in a position, if that ball is thrown, to go cut off, play the upfield shoulder. I mean, that is perfect, coaches. Perfect teaching tape. Let's watch this one more time. Surprised they played any quarters versus these guys. Love quarters, but they would scare the shit out of me.
I know. I literally talked about this the last 2 weeks, that the Titans are so susceptible to post routes because of the way they play this. So what you're telling me is this is quarters coverage. It just shows my lack of knowledge about how quarters is supposed to operate, though. But if it's quarters, then why is Byard coming up so far? You know what I mean? If it's quarters, doesn't he have that deep quarter that the post is coming to? Why does he come up? And then is Jackrabbit just instinctively taking the post because he knows Byard came up instead of dropping back?
No, he's got the post. You got the post no matter what. The corner's on the post, but I think this is the effect of Travis Kelce. So he sees him release, so he's thinking, shit, I can't. I got to see what he's doing. And then he's peeking at the quarterback.
Where Byard's eyes were on Kelce all day long. I talked about that earlier when he was, in robber coverage or whatever we want to call it. He was, zoned over the middle of the field but shaded towards Kelce. So that would line up. My thing is the Titans got beat on this exact thing. See, my brain was telling me this is invert cover 2. Because of the way the safeties stay up instead of going back. But that makes sense. That it's
you
just
can look at it
quarters.
like that. Some people call it that, but it is.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking invert 2, I'm thinking guys are dropping down. This is straight quarters. So for you guys that don't know the quarters reads, okay, and this has stood the test of time. 2's vertical. I have a man-to-man. 2 is out. At or under 5, or at or under where the backer stands. I rob slanted curl to post to 1, so I sit flat-footed. I open up myself, and you drive anything because the safety's going to be high and over the top. The corner's going to be high and over the top. Rather, if 2 is a cross on the drag, now you can game plan it. We used to read day 1 the post of 1, but if you see a bunch of shallow stuff, I'm going to go rob the banks I dig. I've talked about this on the podcast a lot, where we had a kid that went to Brown's football camp, and one player of the camp, because they played quarters, and he would see 2 on the shallow, and he would sprint to the dig and pick it off, and the quarterback never saw him. But here's what I think would happen.
Question for you, though.
The
last game against the Bills, like I said, the Titans got smoked in this coverage because Jackrabbit tried to stay with the post too long, and they slid the wheel route by Beasley down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's always on the post. So real quick, just to get this out of the way, when you're playing corner, like we used to tell our kids in quarters, you have the post and the bomb, or the post and the fade. That's it from the receiver. You don't worry about anything else. The only time you come off is if they get close, and then you can switch with the safety.
Who would have
if this guy ran a
wheel route then? If in this one they're not 2 wide receivers close to each other on the right side. They have Kelce, lined up at the tight end spot or right there off the offensive line. Beasley was more like where Travis Kelce starts at before he motions into the formation.
Then you want to zone this. You can't play quarters when they're this close. You got to zone it off, and then you're basically going to treat this like I have the first outside, I have the first inside. So you're right.
Okay, so you would kind of call off the coverage.
But if it's straight quarters, and every coverage has its own adjustments. They have stack adjustments, bunch adjustments.
Right.
Some coverages, like Saban and those guys, if 2's off, if 2's on versus 1 on and they're close, they'll have different things. But when they're split apart, what I don't understand is why they don't run him at Byard and really occupy him. An option route by Kelce.
Man, that's so much pressure on Jackrabbit. If that was Tyreek Hill, I mean,
yeah, that's why people don't play quarters in the NFL, is because that becomes a problem. That's why you need a guy. You need a guy like a Ram. Like, you need really good corners.
At least speed at cornerback. And
Is that Janoris Jenkins?
he legally changed his name, Coach.
No,
so he legally changed his name this offseason. His name is Jackrabbit Jenkins. So that's why I have taught myself over and over and over again after calling him Janoris a few times to call him Jackrabbit. So he's Jackrabbit.
Fun story. I was clearing out my phone before I sent it back, my last iPhone, and I had this program called iRecorder, and it was like, I think it was before Apple put its own video or audio recording software on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a clip of him, Janoris, during the draft of 2012. And he's like, man, I'm tired of getting all these comparisons to Pac-Man Jones. I didn't shoot up no strip club or anything. And it's one of my favorite clips ever. I think he got drafted by the Rams, right?
I do believe so.
Yeah. I think it was back when they were in St. Louis. It's one of my favorite clips. I got to find it. It was on like NFL radio. They played Sirius XM NFL radio, and they played that clip. It was like because I drove up to Reno that weekend. I just moved back to California, and they played that clip over and over again, and I recorded it. It was hilarious. All right, here's the dangers of spot dropping. So here's what you're talking about. They're playing quarters.
Yeah.
They get to a close alignment. They're going to stack it. They're calling it, so they're going to switch it. But this is where you need to go look up a route.
Ooh, you can see Mabin, the corner right there, do the hand signal to the safety to let him know.
Okay, this is what I don't understand. Maybe Mahomes was buzzed early. I mean, this is I guess they're Okay, I don't understand this play design. So they're booting to the side where there's nobody at. This is just I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if he booted the wrong way or what, but so he stops. He has to look back.
Galaxy brain right there.
I mean, this is open. Throw it. And he holds it, and throws it. And it's just sometimes, man, like, I mean, and this is bang, bang stuff. It's easy to sit here and be like, oh, you should do this and oh, you should do that.
Right.
But that's literally the read of the play.
Yeah, I don't think that you're asking for anything too out of the order.
And I'm the king of, hey, this game's really hard. Like, you know, like I couldn't do this shit. So, in fact, I joke around with Jordan. I think it was the first weekend or second weekend. We were joking or going back and forth on David Carr throwing a play like down to the red zone. It was like bang, bang. And I'm like, I would have never seen that or whatever.
I love your notes here too. This is bad football.
Yeah. So this is my reminder of what play it is.
Right.
This is what I call crybaby protection. Come on, man. I mean, what the fuck? First of all, this is not a 3-step concept, so I don't know why you're cutting. Well, I guess it is, but it's not. I mean, I don't know what they think. I don't know what they think they're getting. So it's quarters up top. I mean, this is straight ass country cover 4. I'm gonna bang 2, reroute, and then I'm gonna play 1 coming in. I mean, this is. I taught 8th graders how to do this. I mean, this is. You're listening for in, out, China calls. He runs in. You can call smash, China, whatever you call it. I'm going to peel off. I'm going to body this up. I'm playing for the 7 cut. I'm nailing down on anything inside. I mean, this shit can be done in high school.
Good job by Elijah Molden, the rookie out of Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a hard technique, but he does it.
But you can't throw this ball until right now. Right now, you should throw it. I don't know why this guy's cutting. I don't understand this. And then Mahomes has to throw it away left-handed. Like, I just don't understand this. I mean, if you're going to run this play, if you're going to run seam slant, I don't understand why he's rounding this off because he can pick this up. If he stalls right here and then just bursts, he's able to throw that in there.
Are you talking about 1?
Yeah, if 1's able to snap this back inside right now and not round this off, I don't understand this concept. I mean, I get it. We call it shelf or drive. It's 2x2 drive. You're trying to run a dig here and a 5-yard or 2-yard shallow, depending on your.
It would make the cut make a lot more sense if it was a quick hit like that. You know what I mean? Then it would make sense to cut. That's what screws
me up. Is drive is a 5-step concept. So slant seam is a 3-step concept, which I know you don't see a lot at that level, but that's what I don't understand. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. This is. Yeah. I don't know.
Harold Landry's a freak, though. That cut doesn't work. I mean, he just pops right back up.
All right.
Takes down Mahomes.
Here's my cover 4 appreciation play. I put this in when I forgot. I done the cover 4 stuff last night, and then I put this in. I was like, I got to do this. Cover 4 appreciation play. This is freaking awesome. Okay, so you get Hill motioning back into the boundary. Okay. Again, I'm going to reroute 2 here at the bottom. I'm going to reroute 2. One's coming back in the corner. We told our kids he's pointing. So you have to communicate in the secondary. And we would tell our kids, and if you're not pointing, you didn't make the call. I want to see, because I can't hear you on the field. So I want to see that you said that shit. Because most kids, they're going to point and they're going to say it. They're not just going to point and not say anything. They'll say it before. But if you teach it together, or they'll say it and then they won't point sometimes. But if you teach together, you can see both. You can see he's making this call, so he's coming off on 2. I'm going to drive this. That's not easy.
That's crazy, too, man. That's Greg Maben. The Titans signed him off Arizona's practice squad this week.
I mean, his belly button is pointing towards the side. Now, what I will say, fantastic play. But what I will say, and this is the case for keeping NFL defenses simple, that is a pretty universal concept. If you play cover 4, you have to do this. Or you have to play what people call mod. Even then, you would let it go, or mess, or make, whatever the hell, where you're going to keep the corner on this, which I don't know why you would do. But that's a pretty universal concept. So this is something that, and this is at the end. Everywhere. I think this is the last series where Mahomes keeps getting slapped. Okay, you're getting
that last hit on Mahomes, man. Woo!
You get 3 fast in the boundary. You're going to push through, so your quarter flat player is going to leverage out. Now it's the red zone, so you don't want to get too much depth. Jenkins does a good job here waiting for it to come to him, knowing that he's sitting on the 7 route. Because down here, you get corners, you get corner routes. You're not going to throw a country-ass post. So that's one thing you can change down in the red zone. I mean, this is the high red zone. You're not going to get many posts. And if you're going to throw them, they're going to be on a rope. Great coverage over there. Let me buzz through some of this stuff. Oh, shit. The battery's getting low on the remote.
Whoa.
So I've talked about this concept before a lot on the podcast, but it's hard to describe. So the coverage is what I tagged cover 5. It's 2-man. So here's what's cool is they make it look like 3 buzz. This is how you disguise. They're thinking, oh shit, it's a blitz. Oh shit, it's a blitz. You know? Now I don't know if this is meant to happen, but it's phenomenal nonetheless. I call this concept high-low. Okay? So the coverage is great. It's man under trail. You're trying to put air on the ball. Mahomes against the same coverage. I think it's the next play. Does a freak job on a throw in a window. But you're just trying to get between you and the ball. And so the
question, real quick, before. Yeah. So you're saying cover 5.
It's a lot of people call it 2-man.
Yeah, that's okay. So I clipped this play earlier on Twitter, and I called it 2-man because in my Madden level of intelligence in terms of terminology, that's what I would call it. But cover 5 makes sense too. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah, and there's no universal there's very few, I should say, universal terms in football. A lot of people run this concept. They call in a meeting. I would say, "Oh, 2-man. Let's run some 2-man. Let's run some 2-man." But they'll say cover 5 is the coverage. So we call it 5-man because for us, 2 deep safeties was cover 5, and it was the opposite because we learned from the TCU guys and whatever. But some people call this something else, like purple or whatever. Okay, but it's 2-man coverage, 2-man under. So you got man under, 2 deep safeties. Okay, nothing spectacular here. It's verts with a shallow and a back out to the flat. I mean, this is as simple as it gets. I don't understand why putting Kelsey here on the X. I mean, you think you'd want a fast dude to try to clear everybody out and get him, but
man, Crookshank just locked him up all day. Crazy.
Okay,
crazy.
I love this. Okay, I don't think this is designed this way, but I'm gonna pretend it was. Okay, this is a concept that I've explained before in audio format. I don't know if I've ever shown it on video, and it's one of these that when you try and describe it, it's a cluster.
Yeah.
But here you go. We call this high-low. So what you're going to do is, we might have talked about it last week. I don't know. But these tackles are taught, if they run around you, right? I'm saying these tackles. I'm just nervous to draw stuff now. Let him go by, right? Run him by. That's what every offensive tackle. If he tries to run all the way around, just run him by. Quarterback will step up in the pocket, right? Okay. So what you do is, you come up and under on one side. You clog all the shit up over here so he can't escape this way. So where does he have to escape? That way. And then you let this guy all the way over here and make the sack over here. So he's running like a hoop. They call him run the hoop. Just run around and make the play over here. Yep. It's one of those things that like the stars align too perfectly to be, especially versus Mahomes, you're going to take an inside move. Like this looks too choreographed to be even the way they load the front where they put everybody over here. So I talk about this a lot. If you got a quarterback that's escaping, a lot of people want to like mush rush and sit and you're letting him have a clean pocket. Do shit like this where you force him to where you want to go. He doesn't know where you're going to force him to go, but you do. So you come up and under, up and under, up and under. You cancel all this crap, okay? And then by the nature of him running all the way around, you make him go, where does he want to flush to? He wants to flush to this side anyway, right?
Yeah.
And you got a guy waiting for you. Fuck, of course the video is going to get... this is just irritating. You see him take the inside move. They've canceled everything. He's going to have to escape. Here comes Dupree. Ball's out. Fumble. Was that designed? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Wow.
Okay, here's a rush lane. You see how them get real wide, too. So they're going to run their tech stunts. So techs is the tackles first and second. That is kind of a universal thing. Not everybody calls it techs, but I don't really know of anybody else that calls something else the word tech. So it's either they use text for this or they don't use it at all. It's not one of these words that's repurposed. Cover 5 can mean 9,000 different things to 9,000 different people. Fangio, it's 3 buds strong. 3 is 3, 5 is 5, 9 is 3 weak. So, I mean, I've seen it all. But here's cover 5 again. You see him, they're giving him the inside lanes, creating the pressure, and they just overwhelm the offensive line. And they did a really good job they played a lot of zone. They played a lot of man. They mixed everything up.
That's what they want to do. I mean, that's what Vrabel wants to do. He wants to disguise coverage. He wants to mix things up and keep the offense guessing. Man, Danico Autry, the inside rip.
He's great.
He was so good in this game.
Question: do you see them? Because like I said before, so my take on this is, and again, I'm a Dean Pease stan, as the kids would say. I'm very biased. I'm friends with his son. Dean's been on my podcast. I love Dean Pease. They're an institution. But so I'm a little biased. But I think in 18 and 19, they finished 11 and 16th on third down defense. He leaves. They signed Dupree and Clowney, and they finished the worst third down defense in the last 20 years. Maybe longer. Yeah. We don't know. Don't have the stats. Okay. What I saw was they're like, oh, shit, we got these 2 really great pass rushers. Let's let them rush. And they took away some of the creativity. Sometimes not having elite players, like if I'm going to have, and I know this is going to sound insane, but sometimes like if you don't have an elite rusher, like either give me a Bosa, which not many of them exist, give me a Bosa, or give me some decent guys that are really smart, and then give me a bunch of good DBs that can like cover and do a lot of different things, and then we'll manufacture pressure. And what I noticed was like, and again, this is just my uneducated take. Uneducated from the standpoint of I don't watch the Titans a lot. But, well, I definitely didn't watch them a lot last year. I watched them in 19 because of Pease. But I know when Pease was there, they were doing a lot of exotic stuff. He was running non-traditional Tampa 2 creepers and just a lot of great stuff. And then it was like last year, hey, we got these brand new pass rushers. Let's just rush the 4 and let's go. And it was like the creativity was lacking. Now, this year, it's not so much like, it's, oh my God, like there's nothing they did that I had never seen before or was really unique, minus the nickel playing the half in Tampa. That was probably the most exotic, quote unquote, which I hate using that word for football.
Right.
But all the pressures were like shit I did in high school. But they were effective. I mean, there's only so many ways you can rush a passer.
Right.
That's why everybody has the same 5 stunts in their plan. But do you notice that they're disguising more this year?
Yes. Yes, I do. And I think they tried to get a little creative up front with Clowney, moving him around the front, you know, line him up at linebacker depth and then blitz him up. But I feel like I'm with you in the sense that Vrabel and them relied too heavily on Clowney and not so much Beasley, but Landry, and thought that they would be able to get there without doing some of the stuff that they're doing this year. But also, in fairness, last year, Shane Bowen was not the official defensive coordinator, and there was a lot of conversation about who was actually calling plays. So this may be less of a philosophical change and more of Vrabel finally letting Bowen go to work and call his own defense.
Gotcha.
So that could be the result of it, just less Mike Vrabel making the calls.
Absolutely. All right, so here's cover 3. They're actually playing zone drop 3. I want to talk about, everybody talks about the weak hook defender in cover 3. It's 3 weeks, so I called it 9 because there's some confusions when I say cover 6. Because cover 6 to some people could be weak side rotation 3, or it could be quarter half. So I just started calling it 9.
Quarter half.
I started calling it 9, and it depends on what school you're from. So like if you're from the Saban School of Defense, their number one call is still 6-bump Bronco, which is weak side rotation 3. They play maybe like 10 snaps of quarter half all year, and they only run quarter half. So for them, it's great. It's cover 8, quarter half. But because in college, people don't run half quarter. Very rarely. I shouldn't say they should. They don't. Very rarely. But in the NFL, and we've talked about this before, it's a concept that's used a lot more because the hashes are narrow, so you don't get stuck having to defend this wide side of the field with a 2-deep safety look. But so they don't even have, most teams don't even have half quarter in their playbook. But anyway, so we always talk about taking the bender of 3 in 3-deep coverage, but we don't talk about it out of 2x2, which is what we're going to do here, because you still got to do it. It's the same principle applies. So here's what you got. They're banging. This is old school country 3. Banging and sinking in the seams. We're reading off of 3. So right now, when the ball snapped, these are both hook defenders. Some people would say, okay, because the back's here, he's strong hook, he's weak hook. There's some other guys. I won't mention any names, so they still talk to me. They'll just say hook, and they'll declare it late in the down. So right now, this would be strong, so he would be responsible for any benders. The back comes across and blocks. He is now the weak hook defender, and this guy delivers him. See him go with that and delivers him to that guy. Great job by the Titans there. That's tough. And they end up getting the interception.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Rashawn Evans passing him off to David Long is just perfect.
And then I don't understand why you still try to make this throw. This is the stuff that's, and I know he's the best, and you can't criticize anybody who's this good. And I also know that they got their ass kicked and he got hurt, and so, I also want to take it easy on him. But I don't give a shit how good you are. What are you throwing to? I don't even know. I don't understand.
He's trying to force plays. That's been he's trying to force plays because they don't got anything going right now, and it's turning into turnovers.
First of all, go right now. Go if you're gonna do this and slide, or turn and run and throw the ball out of bounds. This is just crazy. Whatever. Anyway, I thought that was a great play. Okay,
Landry on him again.
There's some adjustments here. So this is now 9 buzz. So we're saying he's going to insert down in the weak hook. The backer's going to take the flat. Some people call this tube alert. Some people call this, there's a million names for it. But basically the concept is the weak hook defender. Oh God, I'm going to blow this, and DJ Elliott would be so pissed. There's a concept when, oh God, I can't believe I can't remember this. There's a concept where the strong hook defender has to take the crosser in one coverage, and then the weak hook defender has to take him in another. I don't remember the names. We didn't do a lot of this stuff. We were a quarters team, so I can teach it. Obviously, I'm doing a very, very good job right now. But basically, in this coverage, the weak hook defender is going to take the crosser, and the corner is going to climb. Because like we saw earlier, what does everybody do? Versus 3x1. They like to run verts. They like to take the X, bring them on a drag, get the back out in the flat. Some people call it tube alert. Some people call it sneak alert. Some people have it both, and then they have delineations. I apologize. I doubt DJ's watching anyway. But you can see the weak hook defender take the bender, and then the corner sprint to the middle of the field. That's all I wanted to show you. Good pitch and catch for the Chiefs. It doesn't even affect the play. But I just trying to create, trying to show some different things.
More vulnerabilities on the outside near the sidelines for the Titans. That's the exact place that I've been saying that teams can attack them pretty easily with some of these coverages they're running.
Okay, reason number 975 why getting into condensed splits all the time is a bad idea. It makes disguising even easier. I mean, what does this look like? This looks like 2 deep.
Here's what I was talking about earlier. Look how wide Landry is out there. Look how wide he is on that. I mean, in my opinion, they're just trying to simulate that cornerback blitz to keep Mahomes from rolling right. I mean, why would he be outside of the wide receiver? That's insane.
The reason, that's one, I think it's for coverage purposes. Because here's the reason. This guy's playing, he's showing press. It's more of a zone. I mean, I put 9 buzz. It's actually 1 cross. It plays out the same. Most of the time, it's like, this shit don't matter. But they're choking up, and that's really what should have given it away. So if you put him in here, now this guy has to play off, and now they can pick you. But you widen him out. Now I can choke up on him, and they can't pick us, and I can run around the edge. Plus, there's the threat
it's
of
to help out the cornerback exchange.
I think it's to clear the way for him to get up here and press.
Right.
And it also, you know, if I blitz, they got to pick both guys up now.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually 1 cross as the coverage. I put 9 buzz, but it's the same shit. I mean, you're getting here. He's looking for depth. He's playing on it. I mean, it's
crazy to me too that they have Kelsey try to chip Landry before he gets into his route.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I say crazy because the Titans had 19 sacks last year as a team, the second least amount for any playoff team in the modern era. So to see the Titans front be able to create this kind of havoc, it's pretty miraculous from my perspective in comparison to last year. It's unbelievable. 17 sacks already this year. I had 19 last year.
Yeah, well, and a lot of it is, I mean, they just jump out on people. Here's 9 buzz again. He's poaching 3 on the bender. So he sits it down. So this looks like some sort of option route. He's going to sit it down. Either an option route or that's designed that way, but trying to get in front of those benders. Mahomes throws it outside and deep late, which I don't understand. That's not really against a bailed corner. I mean, if throw the ball right here, right now.
I mean, I think he might have had it if he threw it right away or had a little bit more time. Because I mean, Jackrabbit just can't stay with people. But once again, man, Harold Landry showing up every play we watch. It's like Landry just shows up and flashes.
Same play. Now they're running vert. This is the play. They're running verts, and they're because what are they known for? The bender. So now they're creating. I'm playing too high on it. It's just like a bail corner. You snap it down. They're going to come back. You snap it down. You get that guy in space the ball.
So basically 3 right there. You're saying that the Titans are anticipating the deep cross, so he sits it down in the open spot?
And it could be an option route or it's designed. Because he can't get there. And they're not even respecting it. He's supposed to overdrop 3 because he's got to take 2 coming back inside in this coverage. So in 3 deep coverage, if 1 comes back, the nickel has him. The strong hook defender, who's this guy, takes 2 coming back. And then he takes 3. I'm doing a thing with my mouse again, but you can't see my screen. I'm an idiot. But they're like, all right, they're not even respecting it. I mean, he sits down right now. Boom. There it is. I wish he would have just gone forward instead of doing that, but there you go. So it's the cat and mouse game. Here's another snap of that Cole play I was telling you about. Now this is Scribini time. This is like the end of the game, so they're playing real soft. But I mean, you'll see this in like the Tampa 2 stuff where you're getting guys out of there, and then they just sit down right behind it, and they can catch it on the run. Just a nice little pitch and catch.
So just real quick, using that 9 buzz is not a coverage call that I'm familiar with. Can you pare that down with coverages? I know the responsibilities are really what define the coverage,
sure.
But what's kind of the shell of the coverage, I guess?
Actually, I flew through that at the end. We got through it. Yeah, let me get back to those plays, and I'd be happy to. So again, I'm calling, and maybe I should call it 3-week buzz. I did the Bears defense, and they call it cover 9, and so then I started calling it
thing,
9.
then?
Yeah, that's a very much a Fangio thing.
Okay.
So I started calling it 9 instead of 3-week because just wanted to shorten it. And this is coming from the king of.
So
long
basically,
calls.
it's like a cover 3 shell.
It's not necessarily so let's.
I'm just trying to put the terms together. You say 3-week. I'm thinking cover 3 with an emphasis on the weak side zone.
No, it's weak side rotation. So.
Okay.
So in normal cover 3, weak side rotation. Okay, which most of the time in 4 down, you're already weak side rotated because your nickel's over here. Okay, so your coverage is here. You're gonna weak side rotate most of the time. You don't see a lot of strong side rotation. It screws you up.
Yeah.
And the reason being is you have to move your backers because you got nobody to force the ball back inside. And some people like it, like Pete Golding in Alabama loves it. Ron Roberts loves it. There's a lot of guys that love it and do a lot of good things out of it. But some people don't like it. Saban doesn't like it as much because it gives away your disguise. Because if there's 3-by-1, you have to tuck both your backers in the box to make it work. So it gives away, and there's not much you can do off of it. Okay, so cover 3, if you said in general, okay, cover 3 for most people, let's go back a play. Okay, most people would say, oh, this is cover 3, right? 4 under, 3 deep, we're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be right. And generically speaking, it's cover 3. However, if you're communicating with players and you're a 2-high defense, which most defenses operate out of 2-high safety, they're still safeties. I mean, even Seattle, they were, Chancellor was a safety. He would come down. You got to tell them where to go. So if you said 3 to my kids, 3 would be strong side rotation cover 3. So
you're rolling your 2 deep safety down to the strong side, and that's how you create your 3 shell.
Which is what you get when you're running that far blitz. But because you're 4 down, so if you're in an odd front, so let's say you have, I'm just going to put a little line there. So if you're in 3-4, you 3 guys, and then let's say you have these 4 guys there, and then 2 safeties, right?
Yeah.
If I called 3 strong, 3, you'd bring this guy and roll down here, right? If you're playing 3 deep defense or 3 down defense, right? But because you're already declaring the 4th rusher as this guy right here, okay? You need to rotate down weak because otherwise, I mean, if you brought this guy down, you'd have a nickel in the box playing the hook. You'd have a backer walk down on a receiver. It would just be bad. So you want a weak side rotate, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to they need to know how to rotate. So some people so in my defense, we were split field. So if we said 3, that meant we split everything in half and we had calls to each side. So if we said 3, that would know I'm playing curl flat, I'm playing curl flat, I'm playing third, I'm playing third. And then our kids would know, okay, well then what's the second call? If you're in Nick Saban's defense and you say, and the Titans are different. They have all sorts of code words and stuff, and I don't really want to get into that. I'm talking about more generically speaking. You need to tell them how to rotate. So 6 would be the weak side version of 3D, where I'm bringing this safety down on the number 2 receiver and I'm bringing him back. Now, again, I called it 9 because most college fans know cover 6 is cover 3 weak. Most NFL guys know it is quarter, half. Because quarter, half was dead for a long time. So nobody ever said cover 6. Like, it was gone. It was just a dead call.
Right.
So nobody was talking about it. So 6 kind of became
and it popped back up as a modification of a different coverage that was actually being used.
Right. And people started doing it more too.
Yeah.
So that's that. So right here, your curl flat, hook curl. Okay. That would be 3 weak. That's what we would call For us, that was 3 sky. Some people call it 3 weak.
Yeah.
If we called 3 strong, again, we'd have to blitz. This guy would have to drop. And that creates the issue, which isn't that far. I call it far because it's the field side pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it here. I don't want to get too crazy and lose our place, but I also can't see the menu here. So we're going to go on a little journey. All great questions, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, like,
All right, so here's 3 strong rotation. Okay. The nickel's going. The end drops. But because we're in 4 down, again, let's back up. If this was an outside backer, which technically he is, okay, if he was walked out here and this guy was moved over and it was just 3 down, you'd bring him and then he would come down. It wouldn't be such a big deal that you were dropping out a defensive end.
right.
But because you're declaring your 4 down, those are usually going to rush. So if you're bringing him, you're dropping out, and that's now 3 strong. So that's your curl flat player now. Now he's your thirds player. Now the problem with this is you don't want to have it versus speed to the boundary, 2 speed to the boundary, because you have a guy dropping out, and he's supposed to carry a wide receiver deep. And if he doesn't, now the corner has to play 2 guys by himself.
Yeah.
Not a winning business model.
Right.
But the Chiefs don't do a lot of 2x2 open. In fact, when they were doing it in this game, they were coming down and getting the stacks and doing all that stuff. So 3 buzz. Buzz is you're going to insert in between the edge defender and the next defender inside. So if you're looking at, let's go back to that snap of what I called cover 9. I think it's this next play. All right, here we go. Now, you're not going to see this first 2x2 very much because you want to run buzz weak, or you want to run buzz strong to 3x1. You don't want to run it to, because right now, if you called 3 buzz, see, it says they're lining up in 1 high, so it's kind of a problem. Let me try to find a snap where they're in 2 high. Here you go. All right. So right now, they could run 3 buzz. So we talked about 3 sky or 3 strong, where this guy would go, and then this guy would roll outside. And what the words mean is it's where you're replacing down, and then who the force defender is on the run. So right now, I'm the edge of the defense. If I go, I'm going down here, sky, meaning I'm sky support, safety support. I'm going to be the outside defender. I'm going to force the ball back inside. But buzz means I'm inserting in between the curl flat player and the hook curl player. Because I'm inserting and buzzing down in here, they have to push weak. And then this guy's back here. Again, the problem becomes there's not much disguise you can do out of that. Here's the other thing. Buzz is just starting to come back. Buzz is it's an old concept. People used to do it versus the I formation. In fact, Saban and his defense, I'm getting real deep in the weeds here, had a call. It was called adjusted. And so what it was is they would say, okay, we're going to run this call unless 4 strong. Unless there's 4 guys strong, which is here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to get down to 3 buzz. Now, why people started running it a lot is because of RPOs. Because if this guy was extended, they can keep the backers in the box and buzz him down right on top of the throw. And you're good. The reason, 6 buzz or 9 buzz or 3 weak buzz, whatever the hell you want to call it, where this guy was inserting and this guy was taking the flat, has only become a thing since Seattle started playing cover 3 and everybody started running the bender of 3. That was when I was learning football. Nobody ever ran 6 buzz. In fact, Bama, who has every call in the history of defense, never ran it. And what they ended up doing is they play 6 buzz by default if they're a dime. So if this is like a DB and they're in 2x2, they'll insert here because because that's a corner type. They don't want him in the box. You don't want to shove a corner in the box and have a safety go play out here. So if you're in dime, they'll do it where it's automatic buzz. But that's a thing that's started happening recently. And it's because of all these over routes. But that's why 6 buzz is good. And when you teach cover 3, like Dave Aranda, when he was at LSU, well, he still does it now at Baylor, I'm guessing. Everybody learns every drop. So if you're a star or a nickel or whatever you want to call this guy, you're going to play curl flat in cover 3, and occasionally you may shove inside and this guy comes down and you're the strong hook player. So you learn all the different positions, and then you're just mixing and matching because it's the same shit. It's just different people doing it. Like, no matter what happens, if you're playing cover 3, if you're the weak side curl flat player, so usually if it's weak side rotation, 3 weak, cover 6, cover 9, whatever you want to call it, that guy is your 4 to first cross player, meaning he has 4 or 2 weak to this side, or if everything goes this way, he takes the first crosser from the other side. No matter what. I'm the weak hook defender. I'm going to take 3 on the bender. I'm the strong hook defender. I'm going to overdrop 3 at 10 to 12 yards, making 3 go back inside of me to declare the release, and I'm looking for 2 coming in. Right? But now all you have to do is, okay, now we're going to run buzz, so we're exchanging responsibilities. Now, the backer is your 4 to first player, meaning he is taking 4 weak, 2 weak, whatever you want to call it, or the first crosser. So here, let's say he releases like this. Did you send me something?
I sent you a chat. I didn't want to disrupt you.
No, it's okay. My shit's all, I can't even see it. So anyway.
Right.
Sorry.
You're fine.
I got you. So yeah, so that's really what they're trying to do here, and what the concept is, and they're just mixing and matching. And so what's happening is quarterbacks are saying, all right, let's read this weak safety. Okay. He's the key to the whole thing, right? Let's read the weak safety. Well, now all of a sudden, and the Titans don't do this. They have it in their playbook. They're not doing it now. But what they're doing is, and you'll see some other teams do it, is they're running inverted Tampa 2 on the backside with this guy's the middle read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, normal curl. I'm playing the half. I'm your middle Tampa runner. Okay. Now we're playing 6 buzz. Really is the same damn thing. And it ends up being the same thing. I'm going to be your middle runner. I'm going to take the bender of 3. I'm going to insert down here. I'm going to double the X. I'm going to double the X over here. I'm going to push front side. But you can make a lot of things look the same. And so, or a lot of things that are very different look the same. And that's really the art of it. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, showing certain stuff and it turning into something else. I mean, at the end of the day, it's that simple.
Tyler, it's been fun. Thank you for helping weather the storm with me.
No worries at all, man.
No worries at all,
man.
I think it went pretty smoothly for the
worries that you had at the
worries that you had at the
I was losing
beginning.
my shit. I got fancy new graphics. You guys know where to find me. If you're here, you probably found me on Twitter. There's all my cool shit that I had somebody put together for me. I'm never going to pretend like I did all that. But Tyler, before you go, please share where everybody can find your information. I'll also put it in the description in the video.
Yeah. I do a bunch of film work.
I do a bunch of film work. I mean, I'm going to be honest when we're talking about the terminology, the coaching, and all the stuff that you're bringing to the table. I don't get that deep into it. My idea is to make things simple for people who are at a very low level of football knowledge. I would say, I got a diploma, your master's doctorate level.
I don't want people to come to my page.
I don't want people to come to my page thinking they're going to get some of the terminology and in-depth stuff that you're doing, but for the casual football fan, I do try to do a lot of film work on my Twitter account at TicTacTitans. I cover the Titans daily, 30-minute podcasts on YouTube, on any podcast platform, the Locked On Titans podcast, and that pretty much covers it. But man, this was just incredible. I could listen to you talk about this stuff all night. I tried to make sure I was continuing to interact and give feedback and stuff, but sometimes I'm just sitting back like, this is great, man. This is like masterclass, but for football. So hopefully we get the chance to talk more. I am using this as an open invitation to send you clips so you can tell me what the hell I'm seeing when I don't know what I'm seeing, which seems to be more often than I even realize. But yeah, I just want to thank you for having me on. This was great. I learned a lot, had a lot of fun.
and look forward to maybe coming on another time if the Titans
Let's
are
do
worthy.
it, man. I really just want to say thank you. I mean, we tried to throw this together. I really, really wanted the film to be good, and so I made a concerted effort to run OBS, but I did some experimenting, but it didn't have the problems, and so we jumped on Skype at like 5:30.
Right?
You know,
of course, right?
I mean, your audio's not matching your video, and I'm panicking. I'm like, and it's nothing you're doing; it's all on my end. You know, I'm panicking. I'm like desperately asking people for help, and you know, I hit up my graphics guy. I'm like, can you put something together in 3 hours? And it was absolutely miserable. But you know, you want to talk about hitting a home run by having you on. I'm like, hey, man, I know we haven't really talked much, but do you want to come join me on the show? You're like, yeah, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to roll the ball out and see what happens. And, like, I'm panicking on this end. I'm, like, trying to get film stuff on, and you're just like, it's all good, man. And so I really, really appreciate it. I hope some guys got some stuff out of it, and you can send me clips anytime. Just, I want to be very clear about this, though. There's a lot of times I don't know what the hell's going on because they don't know what the hell's going on. You know, it happens a lot. So I don't want you to think I'm copping out.
Yeah.
No,
you're
he's
fine.
Gonna blow me off now.
No, you're fine.
Show. He's gonna big time me.
I think I know that.
If you do know what's going on and can help, you will. If you don't, you'll be honest about that. Honesty is all you ask for.
I'm an asshole. I'm an idiot. I don't know. But anyway, guys, the guys, I don't even know who's left in the chat. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys. And feedback, obviously, the beginning of the show sucked. And I apologize for coming on and being flustered and trying to fix all this stuff while I'm trying to entertain you guys. I'm used to being in a much more controlled environment where I can record stuff and edit it and all that stuff. But anyway, I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm going to try and cut the shit out of the beginning of the video because it was awful. And thank you. Just thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, not a problem. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for having me on, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Good night, everybody.